Some big news in the days that just passed regarding the House settlement versus the NCAA. A lot of things came with that, obviously. Back pay to former athletes. I think it's like $2.8 billion in back pay to former D1 athletes. Some revenue sharing caps for schools, roster limits for facing scholarship caps. A lot going on here. Schools can basically pay the players directly, which I didn't know that wasn't a thing until now, or at least now it's one of those, now it's legal now, even though Nick Saban was doing this probably 20 years ago. But in any regards, a lot of college coaches have been commenting on this. A lot of college coaches have been chiming in on this. And during a recent summer practice, uh, some Purdue media were talking to Matt Painter about it and brought it up to him, and he had some words to say about it. And one of the things that stuck out was obviously he said he loves the House settlement. It means that NIL, it means he loves what it means for NIL and competitive balance. And he said the phrase, not everyone is marketable. And that's interesting to me because, I mean, look, I'm not, it's facts. Like, not everyone is marketable. Like, there's truly is a certain subset of athletes, even at the college level, that have this pull, have this stuff, like, have this thing about them that just makes them more marketable. I mean, you look at, without the risk of throwing people under the bus on Purdue, Braden Smith's marketability is far and beyond TKR's marketability. Both amazing players, but like the marketability aspect of it is way more than just on the court stuff and production, even play style and things like that come into it. Even things like how people look, which is crazy, but that really is part of marketability and what it means. But I guess Dion, I'll throw it to you first. I guess quickly, do you like the House settlement and like what this kind of the changes to it? And then what do you take from Matt Painter's comments saying that, he loves it, loves the what it means for NIL, and then that not everyone is marketable.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of the house settlement, so when I was in my grad school program, like we did a lot of like I did a lot of like research papers on NIL and everything like that. And I kind of knew this was coming. I don't know necessarily through like my studies like what it means for basketball, but this was the only way that you can get like the rowing team paid at some point, right? Because if you're doing it all based off NIL, sponsorships, name, image, likeness, like a lot of those lesser teams aren't going to receive a thing. And this was the best way to get like every program at a university to get those players paid, even if it's going to be a fraction of what like a Braden Smith, TKR, Fletcher Lawyer make for Purdue, right? So I
Mhm.
do like it from that perspective because it kind of evens the playing field about as even as it can get. If you're going to Alabama, the football team is always going to make more than like the hockey team if they have a hockey team, but at least like now the hockey team gets something. So I like it from that perspective. I don't think it changes a thing for like basketball and football though. In my opinion, like these players get so much money already. Like I don't know what more that it could be done. Like maybe they get more money now that there's revenue sharing. Maybe they get less now that there's revenue sharing, depending on what school they go to. I think it makes the Big Ten and the SEC far and away like the most dominant conferences because those TV deals are so much larger, specifically from a football perspective, than the rest of the Power Four, Power Five, depending on the sport. So I think that's something to monitor too, because like how can you keep up with like a Michigan or Alabama if you are in the is the Pac-12 back?
No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, well, if you're in like the even the ACC, right? Like it's levels to it in terms of TV deals and everything like that. So if revenue sharing does play a role, I think you're gonna see a lot of team players going to the Big Ten and the SEC for like financial reasons. Um, in terms of Pate's comment, I mean he's right. Like not everybody's marketable, so it does allow you to pay players that aren't necessarily marketable. But I mean, I would argue he has the most marketable player in college basketball in Braden Smith. And TKR, like you get him behind a microphone, he's electric. So I don't know how far off TKR is either in terms of marketability. So I think marketability kind of comes and goes, and especially when it comes to this age group, you're talking about an age group that like is still learning who they are. So I don't know how marketable anybody is because most people 18 to 22 are afraid to do interviews in the light that like LeBron, Steph, KD, some of the most marketable like basketball players in the world are able to do that because they just don't have that same level of experience.
This video is brought to you by NBA2K Lab.com. 2K Lab worked with us last summer as well. They're one of our favorite entities in all of sports gaming. We want to show you their college basketball stadium locator challenge game. And I'm going to share a screen right now as we do this. South Carolina, bang. Oh,
Ooh,
okay, that's pretty good. Next, North Carolina. Why are we only getting the Carolinas?
please
Bang.
lock in.
St. John's, that's New
New
York.
York.
Bang.
Where's New Jersey?
We're on fire. Colorado. I actually don't know what state Colorado is.
It's in Colorado. There's a state of
Is that
Colorado.
this one?
It's to the right of Phoenix.
Anyway, you get the picture. This game's really fun. They've got more games as well, like Guess the NBA Player, Mystery Fantasy Draft, and more. Stay tuned for all of the college football content and games that they'll be putting together to help you get the best experience out of college football 26. Back to the video.
Yeah, and like, with the cat being involved in this, one of the things I think Painter brought up that I think means a lot is that there is some competitive balance, right? Because there's so much money being thrown around right now. Like, I think the cap limit is going to be estimated $20.5 million. And that's
That
basically
per year.
what do you say?
That per year.
I think it's per year. I might have to
So,
double.
so 20 and a half is less than anybody's, that's more than anybody spent this year.
Is it?
I mean, what's the rumored most is Kentucky, right?
I wonder if it's split up between sports though.
If it's split up between sports, I like that. If it's just 20.5 million for your basketball roster, that's a good chunk of change.
Yeah, that is very true. But I do think that, you know, it will bring a little bit of competitive balance, like Paint said, just having these people on a certain plane as far as teams paying the players directly. And then the marketability standpoint comes into it. He even brought up like Zach Edey being the two-time National Player of the Year, ninth overall in the draft, Braden Smith, who was the Bob Cousy Award winner. Like they're marketable athletes who fit what NIL is supposed to be, right? Like you have these guys he brought it in like he put it in like baseball terms, I guess, which is kind of interesting, but it makes a lot of sense. But like you have this big baseball roster, 52 guys, but there's not many of those guys on the commercial. He said there's a two, three, four, five. That's the market. Not everybody is marketable that plays college basketball and gets paid, which is very true. There definitely are some people that get paid that aren't like they wouldn't sell shoes or t-shirts or anything like that if those came out. Um, there's a lot of things that haven't been fair across the board, which is the last thing Painter said about that. And so hopefully this equals things out a little bit. So I guess we'll end this video with this, Dion. Do you think that a lot of the things across the board with NIL and everything like that have been fair?
Yeah. I think I don't think in any sport anybody gets paid like the same amount. And marketability does go into how much you get paid. It does go into how much you stick around, right? Like, um, Nick Young. Did Nick Young do anything to deserve to have like a longer career than um I don't even know who to compare. Sasha Vujacic, right? Like those are similar players, but Nick Young was more marketable. He was a more known name. So like you can sell jerseys of Nick Young, right? I mean, you can kind of sell them with Sasha Vujacic, but there's a lot of guys that like don't get second chances because they go unknown within a fan base. So then you have guys like Jonathan Kuminga, who the fan base loves. He's done nothing, and he's probably going to get like close to $100 million this offseason because of that marketability aspect. So I think from a standpoint, no, it wasn't fair, but it isn't fair across the board, right? Like quarterbacks are more marketable than offensive linemen. Who makes more money? Quarterbacks. It just is what it is. The more marketable you are, the more money you're going to make.
Yeah, I'm all for that because I do think that marketability it isn't even amongst all people. So once again, Matt Painter's right. We probably would have just said that. We probably could have just said that at the start of the video, ended it. But there was a couple more topics we wanted to talk on. But shout out to Coach Painter being pretty transparent about this and honestly hitting the nail on the head. No Boilermaker pun intended there.